Phil, why does it sound like that? If Gary finds out you've been fiddling with the buttons to make things sound peculiar again, he's going to go absolutely mad. And you've knocked off one of the fruit pastels. Put the fruit pastel back on and try it again.
Only Human Radio. 1980s special.
Hi, Gary. Yeah, it's Jules. We're in the... What? Who? It's Jules. What do you mean? Jules, we're on your spaceship. What do you mean, what spaceship? What are you talking about, Gary? Oh, either you've been taking drugs again or you're very confused. Anyway, how's the new album going, Intruder? No, it's called Intruder. Gary, it is not called Berserker, it's called Intruder. Gary, what's the matter with you? What do you mean you've got to go and play with... What are you on about? You're going to go watch... What? Starsky and Hutch? Why are you watching that? It's 1984? What's happened? Gary, I've got to go. Andy, what have you done?
Well, I saw a button called 1984, and I thought it was one of your compilation CDs, so I thought I'd just play it.
Well...
Obviously, I don't know what's happened.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened, Andy. You've pressed the 1984 button. We've gone back in time. We've landed in 1984 in Times Square. Gary doesn't even know who we are anymore, let alone be annoyed. He's going to be absolutely furious when he finds out what we've done.
What, future Gary or 1984 Gary?
Future Gary. 1984 Gary's off his nut. So I think we're all right.
He's got blue hair, hasn't he?
He has. It's a great album, though. I'm sure it'll do well.
Yeah, it's all right.
And
it's okay.
I've also now given him his name for his new album that's going to be out in 2021, which he doesn't know yet, but that'll stick in the back of his mind. So at some point in the future, he will be doing that. So anyway, welcome back onto the Newman 480, and we've got a new special guest on this week as well, as we've landed in Times Square in the US of A. This is very, very exciting. We've got Matt Siddle with us. Are you there, Matt?
I am, yes. Hello.
That's it. Press the intercom button.
All right.
Brings you straight through. How are you? I can see the excitement on your face. I can hear you now. I can see the excitement on your face for sitting inside this amazing space shuttle.
It's all a little bit surreal. It's not what I'm used to on a typical Wednesday evening.
Well, no. It's not what any of us are used to, is it, Andy?
Well, we are every other Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a fair point. Fair point. Well made. I tell you what, we probably ought to have a little chat about what we've got coming up tonight. We have got an amazing array of music coming up tonight again, Andy, haven't we?
You know, I'm going to steal one of your lines. There are many, but there's this particular one I'm going to steal. And you say, this week, I think is the best week we've ever had. And I'm not going to say that exactly, but it's definitely up there. Absolutely. I think the tunes tonight are ace. Really, really, really good.
And I think you've pulled together a theme as well, Andy.
Yeah, do you know, I've been yearning for a theme to say it's very this or it's very that. Tonight, folks, I think it's very lush synth tonight. There's loads of big chords and arpeggios and oscillators and all of that kind of malarkey. Plenty of melody.
Dark undertone I'd put in there as well.
There does seem to be a very sort of dark, rich, synthy feel to this one this evening. Purely by accident, but
I'd agree. I mean, Matt, you've had a little pre-listen to everything, and I've had a pre-listen to yours, which is very nice indeed. So, we've got some exciting stuff coming up, haven't we?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, it is going to be a cracking lineup of stuff tonight. So what have we got coming up first, Andy?
It's Sword Swinging Robot, Matthew Garnett. It's a tune called End of Line. I've chosen that because I think that it might have been slightly overlooked because we played quite a few other tunes off of it, and I think I thought let's play this one. The quality is as high as all of the other tunes. It's absolutely ace.
It is. It's a belter. How did you find it, Matt?
Yeah, it was good. Really enjoyed it. It's like you say, it's a belter.
It is a belter, and there's like a violin sound he's got in there as well.
I noticed that I put a cello, lovely synthy string cello. Yeah.
And then there's a lady who says something at the end, but I couldn't quite work out what she was on about.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was very important and very surreal, but I just couldn't make it out.
I think it might have been. I don't know. I was going to say something that I was going to regret then.
That's my job, Andy.
I know. I stopped just on the edge of the cliff.
I tell you what, before anything goes any further, why don't we stick it on? This is Sword Swinging Robot. It's End of the Line.
Only Human Radio.
It's not about money. It's truly about making the difference in the life of another human.
Only Human Radio.
Wow, that was Sword Swinging Robot, End of the Line. Every time, Matt just pops it out of the bag, doesn't he? It's got that quality that he brings to everything. And also, there's a Sword Swinging Robot feel to each of his songs. You can tell it's one of his. There's a character.
Do you know what I like about Matt's stuff? And it's the dynamics of it. It's the rise and the fall and the it's got drops. It's got all sorts of sort of dynamism in there that I've never introduced to my music, but it just really makes sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes feel like 2 or 3 minutes. It's that good. It's fabulous, brilliant stuff.
It is. It's superb. Right, so we're going to move on, and coming up next we've got it's another Only Human stalwart, really, Andy, isn't it? It's good old Torsk.
Yeah. Torsk is now a they.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he's no, he hasn't. No, I was going to do some alien joke then, but I'm not going to. No, he's got a drummer and a saxophonist,
right,
who are now Torsk. So we've got the Torsk sound, but it's been supplemented by saxophone, and I think there's even live drums on this one. So this is brilliant. I love this.
It really is, and it's got a very atmospheric feel to this one as well.
I can't believe it. I put Ace Atmosphere on here, so I think we're both in the same sort of area with this. It's got that kind of cool jazzy feel without sort of that cheesy jazzy feel to it. So yeah, right up my street. This, love the sax on it. But
it's also got a little slightly scary under element to it. So I wrote down it's a little bit like a scary dream, like in an industrial area or something or other. So there was something unnerving about it. Again, as there quite often is with Torsk stuff, which is what I really like about it.
Yeah, and there's that sort of persistent synth line picking at you all the way through.
Yeah.
Like Psycho sort of, that kind of persistent beep, bleep. Really good.
Yeah, I did notice that actually, yeah. I thought it might have been a bin truck reversing outside at first, but it wasn't. It was part of the song, and I did very much enjoy it. Andy nearly spat his tea out then. Don't do that, because that
was nearly bad timing.
If you do that on the Newman 480 controls, Gary's going to go mad when we go back to the future.
Well, the thing is, though, I'm already in trouble with him.
Well, that's true. Well, particularly as we've got 3 fruit pastels as buttons from the last episode. And Matt was saying before, you're a Torsk fan as well, aren't you? Because there was the Torsk on the first Only Human album as well, which is an excellent song.
Yeah, he's done some amazing stuff. I follow him on Instagram as well. He's just quite accomplished at anything he turns his hand to. He's quite an accomplished photographer as well.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking out on Instagram for his photography as well as his music.
I was going to say I had a bit of a chat with him because he played Modulate as well.
Yeah.
He's got some brilliant ideas. He was telling me about how you can walk around with an iPad and record musicians in 360 degrees and all of this kind of stuff. It was really, really sort of interesting and very exploratory in the sort of some of his ideas. So yeah,
well, he's a proper creative artist, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Does anybody else want a sausage roll? Do you want a sausage roll?
I've already eaten.
Have a sausage roll anyway. We've got an array of condiments that you can place onto your sausage roll. If you were going to put a condiment on this song, Andy, what condiment would you put on it?
I would put beetroot ketchup on it.
Would you?
Yeah.
That's posh.
Blimey, I can't beat that.
What, beetroot ketchup? You can't. It's the new king of condiments.
That was nearly a joke. Is a beetroot a beet?
Yeah.
That's why I said you can't beat that. So it was nearly a joke, it's just that nobody got it. But it doesn't really matter. But anyway, sorry, Matt.
It's okay.
What you put on it?
I think it's probably got to be mint sauce. I think mint sauce works with everything. I could have mint sauce on a Sunday dinner. I could see mint sauce. Actually, no, just on a Sunday dinner. No, I think I'm not quite making sense there, am I? I just like mint sauce. Well, do you know what? I prefer mint jelly. I prefer the sweetness of mint jelly.
Do you know what I had the other day? I had a treacle sandwich. Found some treacle in the cupboard. Thought that'll be delicious in a sandwich. Do you know what? It wasn't. But I persevered and got all the way through it.
But do you know what is good? A golden syrup on toast.
Oh, now you're talking there. That's what, because I'd had some syrup. I found some syrup the week before, surreptitiously eaten that.
That was a good joke.
Surreptitiously, thank you. Yeah, but then I saw the treacle and thought that'll be just as good, but it just isn't, Andy. It just isn't. And on that bombshell, I think we're going to have to play the song. So, Matt, do you want to pull the launch button? Not that one. Yes, that one. That's it. That's the one. Here we go. Right, that's it. It's Torsk. Compensate.
Only Human Radio.
Human Radio.
Torsk, Compensate, that was amazing. And again, did have that slight undertone of an industrial sound about it. But just a superb piece of music again from him. He's a real proper creative musician, isn't he?
Love it. Absolutely brilliant.
Bang up your alley, Andy. So next up, we've got something really special coming up now, because we've got Matt. It's your song. This is Red 5. So I'm going to pass over to Andrew. He's far better at this stuff than I am.
I was hoping you weren't going to do that, because I didn't write down the name of your song.
Ohm's Law.
Of course it is. Yes, I just didn't write it down. Ohm's Law. Beautiful piece of music. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's 8 minutes long. And then I listened to it, I was like, oh, it's only 8 minutes long. It's really, really, really good. How did you make it? That was the first thing I wanted to ask you. What instruments did you make that on?
The main thing in there is I have a trio of Behringer Model Ds and a strike fet, and those are the overwhelming sounds in there.
Is the strike fet is it a string synth?
It is a string synth, and this is something we've spoken about in the past, myself and Julian. Is the only problem with the strike fet is it always sounds like a strike fet.
Yeah.
And so it has actually been fed through a Strymon Big Sky, just to really
nice.
Thicken it up and wash it out, and make it all mellow and wallowy. And it doesn't matter what you do, if you just play it straight out of the box, you always know it's a strike fet. And mine is a little bit finicky. After a while, it seems to I wouldn't say it crashes, but the sound degrades, and you have to disconnect it and fire it up again. So it's
weird.
Strange little thing, but that's just one of the idiosyncrasies of my particular one, I think.
How were you controlling that? Because obviously there's the second thing I loved about it, really, apart from the sort of sound palette, was the chord changes. How were you controlling that?
So all the heavy lifting on this is done by the Electron Digitact.
Right, okay.
It does all the hard work here. It's sequencing the strike fet, it's sequencing the 3 Model Ds. It's also playing the lead through a Crave, and then there's just a little bit of additional bits and pieces. The arpeggios coming from Digitone, and then just the drums are coming from the Digitact as well.
So this is pretty much a live performance then?
Yes.
You just firing MIDI out and these are all chained together. It's all happening in the moment.
100%. Yeah, it's real time. That's just the way I do it. I am doorless, as the saying goes. And so it took a few goes and a couple of days of practice and just getting it right, and then hit record, and what you see is what you get.
I mean, it's a beautiful piece of music.
I've listened to some of your stuff before, Matt, and my assumption was that when you're making it, you seem to get lost in it, because they're always sort of quite evolving and quite developing, and they're never sort of 2-minute jobs, are they? You sort of
do you know what it
usually have a decent length.
I think
that's not criticism, by the way.
No, it's okay. But what it is I do actually struggle to do something quickly. So I couldn't rattle through a load of different changes and changing parameters and changing patterns and things like that. I just can't keep up. And so what that does is that does force me then into creating more meandering, slow burning tracks rather than massive 4-minute floor filling monsters.
Right. Okay.
And so it's just my own personal limitation has forced my style, if you like. But I don't mind. I enjoy it. I like it.
It's your character then, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also I strive for a purity which I've yet to find. I listen to a lot of stuff on Spotify and what have you, and a lot of it is like 1 or 2 instruments drones and things like that. And that's something I strive for, but I lack the discipline, the self-discipline to pull that off. I always end up thinking, I need to drop something else in here, and this needs a little bit more going on. Eventually I'll get there. I'll get to where I want to be, where maybe there's just one drone. Yeah, deal with it.
I did also, I wrote down as well, there's a bit of an OMD feel about this, I thought.
Oh my God, I've written this down as well.
Have you really?
Me and you are becoming the same person. I put epic with OMD arpeggios.
Well, there we are.
Yeah. It is a gorgeous tune, though. Absolutely gorgeous. I was going to say, it's almost, well, it is challenging David Hughes for his chord changes.
Yeah.
You know, it's up there. It's that level for me. It's great.
It is superb. So I tell you what, Matt, why don't we have a listen? This is a lovely song. I know you're going to enjoy this. This is Red 5, Ohm's Law.
Only Human Radio.
This is the planet Earth. Our planet.
Only Human Radio.
Oh, that was Red 5, Ohm's Law. Do you know what, Andy? If I was going to stick a condiment on that, I'd stick a hot sauce on it because it was smoking. It was.
You've just made your own sound effect. Such amazing sound. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I'd stick on it. Cheers, all the best. Right, we've got. It's a classic jingle coming up. Here we go. Oh, my life. Oh.
1980s special.
Oh, yeah, that is a beautiful jingle. Phil's done us justice on that. And he's brought us back into 1984 with that jingle as well. That's put him under pressure to put a new one. Right, so it is indeed Andy's Gear Geek Corner now. So we've got our special guest, Matt Siddall, doing his Gear Geek with Andy. And they're going to hand over for one of your classic, seamless, beautifully orchestrated interviews. Thank you, Jules. Brilliant. I'm looking forward to this one, I have to say. I've had about 10 minutes advance warning on what we're doing this evening, and it is also one of my favourite bits of equipment. So we're going to be talking about the Electron Digitact. Is that right, Matt?
I don't know. I don't know what the right saying is. There's Digitact or Digitact. I quite like the European Digitact.
I forced myself to say it for ages because I knew it made me sound like a bit of a prat, but I stuck with it. What is the Electron Digitact?
So the Digitact is a sampler and a beat maker. Its most powerful attribute is its sequencing ability. It's got eight sample tracks, but it's got 8 sequence tracks, and those tracks can be up to 64 steps long, but every single track can be a different length, so you could connect 8 different instruments and have them doing all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. It's massively powerful, way beyond my modest abilities, but it does all the heavy lifting in that track that we just played. It does all the hard work.
I've heard people criticise Electron for saying, you have to do it the Electron way, if it's sort of the Electron way or the highway, and sort of how some of the machines can be a bit limiting. But 8 tracks of MIDI, that's pretty generous.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, even the Digitone still does 4 tracks, and that's still a lot. And funnily enough, on this track, it's the first time I've been limited by the Digitone. I was trying to get those lush, thick string sounds going, so I went off and found some string patches, and the Digitone just couldn't cope, and I was running out of voices. That does have its limitations. Anything has limitations, but the Digitact is so versatile. It can do so much. You can unplug it and sit in bed with it with a pair of headphones and make a full track just right there in the box. It's unbelievable. It'll do single cycle waveforms, so it's a synthesizer as well.
I think you posted a video where you were exploring that, sort of speeding things up, and
I'm not sure I'd post that much on Facebook without really paying attention. It depends what mood I'm in. If I'm playing, then I'll do something. I know I did a lot with a conical, which is a style of counting in song. I don't fully understand it, but I used a piece of conical where I was able to slow it down and speed it up and play different bits of the piece out of it, and it's just I cannot get it to I can't get its full potential out of it.
I can see my Digitact box from where I'm sitting now, and they describe it as a beat-making powerhouse, which I still think is selling it a bit short, because it gives the impression it's a drum machine, doesn't it?
That's how it's sold, as a drum machine, isn't it? As a sampler drum machine.
I think I don't know if maybe the 8 MIDI tracks of sequencing was just thrown in at the last minute without really much thought, and it turns out that that's one of its most powerful features.
But that sequencer is phenomenal inside the Digitact as well, isn't it? I'm just trying to remember what it can do. Is it conditional triggering? It does. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, conditional triggering. There's all kinds. A lot of people claim that Electron stuff is too much menu diving, and just don't find it. There may be a couple of button presses to get to certain things, but I find everything is where you need it. Everything is right there, maybe one or two layers down. It's not, I wouldn't call it menu diving as such. Maybe to set up some sounds and things like that, you might need to get a bit involved, but beyond that, you can do pretty much anything you want pretty much straight away.
Have you ever played live with it?
I think I have played at Sheldon's with it. Playing live comes back to what we said before. I lack the mental agility to be able to make changes on the fly and really, really quickly. My music, I have to think about what's coming up next and I have to just meander into it. And if I end up running a few bars over while I'm trying to work out what I'm supposed to be doing, then it's fine because the style of the music lends itself to that and I can get away with it.
Right, I've got a question I've got to ask you. If you're using both the digitact and the digitone, which do you use as the master and which do you use as the slave?
The digitact is the master. Funnily enough, it has mine does have a big sticker on it that says "I'm in control." I've got this brightly coloured fabric tape and I use it for everything. So every piece is marked up with what it's supposed to be connected to. I've got all the keys on my keyboard marked because I'm rubbish at keyboard as well. So all the keys are marked and I've got this stuff. And then in the middle at the top on the digitact, it says I'm in control, just so that I always know that is the master swift. And if I do want to change the speed, I know which machine I should be using, trying to pretend that I'm in control.
You spend these hours and hours creating songs, don't you? And then you put them on YouTube and 100 people watch them occasionally. And when I had my digitact, I just put a 1 minute video on there of the difference between the green and the purple mute buttons, 10,000 views. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I'm glad you've posted that because I'm going to go and watch that.
I only learned this week what yellow means. That it is it's
yellow.
So it's not a trigger, is it? It's a trigger without a trigger, like a hold or a whatever it's called.
I get yellow if I leave record on and I mess with things like LFOs and stuff. It records the transport.
That's right.
I think that's yellow.
Yeah. So it's recording. It's recording what's going on, but not recording an actual trigger.
So if you give the old reverb a tweak, that'll come up as yellow, won't it? It'll record the activity, I think.
Right, just shows how deep they are.
Is that like recording automation then, or is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So, Andy, before I interrupt you, have you got more questions because you probably got a long list there.
If you had to get rid of one of them, which one would you get rid of?
Digitone.
That's straight out with that then.
Yeah.
No question.
Wait, digitone. The digitact, the only time I'll ever get rid of the digitact is if I upgrade to the Octatrack Mark II, which is just its big bully of a grown-up big brother, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Hasn't Matt got one? Matt Garnett?
I'm not sure. I think he might have, yeah. It's a very complex beast, though, isn't it, the Octatrack?
Yeah, and I'm as I've already said, I'm not even getting close to the limits of the digitact, so it may be a step too far. So, it's been a while since I bought any new gear. I think the last thing I got new was the Crave. I went through quite a period of really trying to learn the setup I wanted and went through all these different bits and pieces and things. Had a noodler, which was an amazing thing.
That was good. I remember that was a phenomenal piece of kit.
I was looking at that the other day. I was watching a YouTube clip on the noodler. It looks amazing.
It is, but again, I just didn't get the best out of it. And then when I finally landed on the digitone and the digitact, I felt like I'd got to where I needed to be. I haven't bought any new gear since, well, with the exception of the Big Sky. That's the last thing I bought. But I
feel like that with the digitone. I get it out, and it's like, oh my god, you fall in love with it all over again.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. Beautiful.
Well, it's interesting because I read a review of the Octatrack the other day that said if you want to stop enjoying making music, buy an Octatrack.
Oh, there we go then.
But it is a superb piece of kit, and if anybody hasn't seen one before, just do a bit of YouTubing or something on it, or just YouTube how to do the purple and green mute buttons on the Digitac, and then you can add a few more views to my video.
I tell you who does a good Electron reviews. It's True Cuckoo.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If you want to watch somebody who's really enthusiastic and knows what they're on about, watch some True Cuckoo stuff.
Mad as a box of frogs.
Right, we've got to move on up. So moving on up to Malaeus with a great new song, New Industry. This is a really beautiful piece of music, Andy. Really cinematic.
I love every sound in this.
Yeah.
And I do. I love the synth sounds, the brooding, the drum sounds, the little bits of percussion. Every sound in this. I was waiting for him to sort of, I don't know, drop a clanger. But it was great all the way through. Loved it. Ace.
It really was, and it was a proper cinematic experience. You could genuinely put this over a film, and it would sound like the correct movie soundtrack for it. It was phenomenal. Yeah, it reminded me of. Go on, shall we stick it on? But go on, let's see what it reminded you of first, Andy.
Well, I was going to say, you know, Human League Mark 1. They made 2 albums before Dare. Reproduction and Travelogue, and it made me think that's what that Human League would sound like now if they got today's gear. It just sounded like a Human League Mark 1 upgrade to me. I was thinking, oh yeah.
Well, let's see what everybody else thinks, Andy. I'm sure you're right. So here we go. This is Malaeus. This is New Industry.
Only Human Radio. 1980s special.
Malaeus, New Industry, that was just an amazing, just overwhelming piece of music almost. It just washes over you, doesn't it?
I love the title as well. New Industry, what a great name for a synth tune.
It is, or even a synth band. Yeah. One or the other. I'm easy either way.
Putting ideas in his head there.
Next up, we've got me, CitizenFLY, with The Fear. This is a bit annoying, this song, Andy, to be quite honest with you. Do you know why? Because I bought a cheap second-hand Machine Mark II because I wanted to have a fiddle about with machine software again. So I bought one, 100 quid, got it for. It's a phenomenal bargain. That's why I bought it. I thought, I'm not going to leave it there like that. So I had a fiddle about with it, made this song, and then realised I'd fallen back in love with Machine again. So I've sold absolutely everything and bought a Machine Plus. So I've got nothing left now, other than that. You
were flogging something the other day. What was it you were trying to flog the other day on Facebook?
That was my Akai Force.
Was it? Did you manage to sell it?
I did. It went the day I put it up. It was the only Akai Force available on eBay. Yeah.
I'm thinking of how easy the Digitact is. We didn't even talk about how easy it is to sample onto the Digitact. It basically says, where do you want this to start? Where do you want this to end? What do you want to call it? And that's it.
Yeah, it's brilliant for that.
Machine is even easier than that. You just press sampling, press start, press stop. That's it. And then it'll now on the new update, it'll actually fit it. So if you want to say, well, just fit that into 4 bars. There we go, pops into 4 bars.
Does it time stretch?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's just idiot-proof, which is why I like it. So anyway, that's what this was.
Do you know what? You've actually snuck an extra gear geek into this show this week. Fair play.
So that's what I made this on anyway. So let's get it out of the way. So this is me, CitizenFLY. This is The Fear.
Only Human Radio.
ويدد يو لندين تايمز سكوير يو مرن.
That was me, CitizenFLY Fear. We forgot to stick a condiment on that, Andy. I'll stick my piccalilli on there, because as much as sometimes I like the flavour, listening back to it, it always repeats on me a little bit. So, you know, I don't like listening back to my own stuff. So
Piccalilli's lush. I love piccalilli.
Never that sure, really. It's just the colour.
No, it's nice. Oh, turmeric. It's only turmeric.
Is it?
Yeah.
Looks like somebody's been ill.
To quote Peter Kay, don't eat out luminous.
Exactly that. Wise words indeed. Right, so coming up next, Andy, we've got well, here we go. It's another phenomenal jingle. It is
Andy's Master Blaster.
It's brilliant.
That's right, it is. It's Andy's Master Blaster. So what have we got, Andy, on your Master Blaster this week?
Tonight we've got Cosmosapien with a tune called Blue Moss. Cosmosapien, a.k.a. Michael Donahue, we were recommended this fella by Minimums. He said, if you like what I'm doing, yeah, go on.
Can you lift me up? There we go. Got that out of the way. For Matt, that's mini mums, you see, rather than minimums. Can't quite reach the flower on the top shelf. Dads do shopping too. But anyway.
Yes, they do. God. So he was recommended by Minimums, who basically said, if you like what I do, then you might like Cosmosapien. I don't know much about him. I had a trundle through his Bandcamp and SoundCloud pages. He's from Jersey, or he's based in Jersey, and he's actually been featured on BBC Music Introducing, which is I think it's a slot for breakthrough artists on Radio 1. I think that's right. So he's getting a bit of interest from national radio.
Well, I'm not really surprised, because it is a phenomenal. So I wrote down this as it feels like a Nordic cinematic piece. So you're watching some kind of dubbed film that's got some gritty undertones to it from some Nordic region. I won't do the accent, Andy. I'm not going to offend them again. Rolling up sleeves, smoking my cigarette, and playing my CD player. But yeah, it had that kind of just I don't know Arctic feel about it. I'm in a different continent.
I think Northern Scandinavia seems to be cropping up in our shows quite regularly these days. It seems to be a running topic. But I know what you mean. It's kind of he describes it as are you going to like this? Electro soundscapes with synth hymns.
Oh, I do like that. Well, I was just going to say that actually describes it perfectly, which probably would do because he's written it and he's describing his own song, but it does genuinely describe that perfect.
Yeah.
You know how some people say Steve Wright in the afternoon is a bit inane? They just haven't listened to me yet, have they? It's only a matter of time.
Oh no, you're way more interested than Steve Wright.
I can vouch for that. Steve Wright's on all week in the office, and it's no, it's not good. I'd much rather listen to you, Jules.
Oh,
so would I.
No, well, that's lovely.
Yeah, so would I.
Well,
not every day though in the office though.
Right, I tell you what, let's pop it on. This is an amazing tune, really is superb, and we get ready for a journey. This is Cosmosapien. This is Blue Moss.
Andy's Master Blaster.
It's brilliant.
Cosmosapien, Blue Moss. That was a journey, wasn't it? That really was.
Really
and it
good.
was a very
To Jersey and
enjoyable
back.
journey. Yeah, to Jersey via the Nordics.
Yeah. The Nordics. Is that actually, well, is that a thing?
It is
the
now.
Nordics.
It is now, great mate. Yep. Right.
I think when we check our viewer stats, I think that our Northern Scandinavian listenership will have dropped over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think you might be right there, Andy. We might have to do it. We'll try and do a Norway special next week.
Yeah, okay.
And big them up. Bigging up. Right, so moving on. We have. It's our last song. Can you believe this?
And I already, I can't believe it.
This is ridiculous. Well, and what a song you've picked. I mean, you always do this, Andy. You bookend beautifully. Once again, you've got something really, really special for the ending. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to let you describe this, Andy, because this is just a great, great piece of music.
Well, first of all, about a month ago, we went through a tear in the space-time continuum.
We did.
And Dr. Skime's tune got warped out of all recognition.
Yeah.
So rather than play it again, he has sent us another one. So I thought, let's leave that there. Let's play his new one. And this one's called A Heart the Size of a Pixel. So that's quite small, I would imagine. I don't know what a pixel is, but it sounds like it's small or big.
You know what a pixel is, Andy. So you know when you used to play video games on your ZX Spectrum, and you had a little funny little blocky man. Each of those blocks is a pixel. That's what you make up your graphics out of, is your pixels. No tiny. Depends. All depends.
Pixel is it's a dot, isn't it? But it depends on the size of the display. So a pixel on an iPhone is minuscule, but a pixel on a Jumbotron could be an inch across.
A Jumbotron?
What's a Jumbotron? What's a Jumbotron?
The big TVs you'd see at Piccadilly Circus.
Oh, right.
Jumbotron.
Is that really called a Jumbotron?
I think it was Sony's bit of a marketing blurb when they were selling the Trinitron TVs, and so they came up with the Jumbotron.
I'm going to write that down, and a little note to myself, I must use that in conversation tomorrow.
Do you know, when you said that, I had a little tingle down my neck when you said Jumbotron. I was like, "Oh, that sounds brilliant."
I don't know what it is, but I want one.
Yeah.
I've forgotten why we were talking about it now. Oh yeah, pixels. That was it.
Pixels.
Right. Yeah, that was it. That was it. So, Andy, if you had to put in just like a sentence or two, how would you describe this song? And then what condiment would you put on it?
Oh my God. Well, I like genres. I'd call this wonky acid. This is definitely wonky acid. So for the condiment, I would pick balsamic vinegar.
Oh, get you.
That's sort of wonky acid.
With your international flavour.
Well, well, because that gives you, it's wonky acid. Oh, it doesn't matter. I just made that up on the spot as well.
What about a balsamic glaze? Because it's a bit stickier, isn't it? It's got a bit of a better drizzleability.
Do you know, sticky is a great way to describe this tune.
I just have a bit of HP. I love a bit of brown. I can't beat a bit. It goes on anything. And this goes with everything. I'll leave that there. I'll just leave that hanging in the air there. Right, I'll tell you what. This is Dr. Skime. The heart the size of a pixel.
Only Human Radio.
Only Human Radio.
Oh, I always love a bit of Dr. Skime. You can't beat a bit of Dr. Skime to round the night off, can you?
Absolutely cannot.
You cannot. And what a night we've had, Andy. It's been, I wouldn't even say a roller coaster, because, you know, with the exciting bit on a roller coaster where you're just going down and down and down and down, it's been like that all night.
For me, it's all good. Great company, great music, and one of my favourite machines featured as well. It's up there for me tonight, this one.
You couldn't
really
ask more than that. You couldn't ask more than that. And we've had a super guest on with Matt Siddle tonight as well. We'll do our goodbyes in a minute. But first of all, Andy, can you run us through what we had on tonight?
Yeah, we started off with Sword Swinging Robot, End of Line. Then we had Torsk, Compensate. We had Red 5 with Ohm's Law and Bombshell. What does Ohms stand for, Matt?
So it was Only Human, and my name, Matt Siddle, Ohms. I've always been a bit of a physics and electronics nerd, geek, so Ohm's Law made perfect sense.
There we go.
Fantastic. Number 4, we had Malaeus, New Industry. Number 5, CitizenFLY, The Fear. Cosmosapien, our Master Blaster, Blue Moss, and last, number 7, Dr. Skime, and a heart the size of a pixel, which could be between an inch and a pinhead.
If you're going to be using a Jumbotron, then it could be as big as your head, Andy.
Nothing's that big.
Oh, I can't wait to use Jumbotron in a conversation tomorrow. It's going to be so exciting, and the other person's going to be so confused.
Right. Can we make a little bit of a promise? I'm also going to try and fit Jumbotron into a conversation tomorrow. Next show, can we find out how we got on?
Absolutely. I'm selling to people tomorrow as well, so it's going to be very interesting. Right, okay, well, that was a phenomenal show. Matt Siddle, thank you so much. You've been a wonderful guest. Thank you very much for your insight into the Digitact and for your beautiful song this evening. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Lovely, beautiful, yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Now, gentlemen, could you put your seatbelts on? Because I know that Gary got confused a little bit earlier, but we do need to get the ship back to him. So clunk click every trip. I won't do the voice. It's not really appropriate anymore if you think back to the adverts. Anyway, we'll skip past that. But anyway, if you could put your seatbelts on ready, and then Andy, do you want to pull that big lever and see if we can get ourselves off and away? Actually, Matt, can you just turn the key and turn the engine on first? Thank you. Right, sorry. Yeah, go on. If you pull the big lever, Andy, here we go. Steady.
We are